Yeah, yay. Welcome back to the Sideline Story Podcast. I got the legend in the building, King K. So what's happening, man?
Chilling, bro. Same shit. Now, how you doing, man?
Chilling, chilling. So I was watching the Commissioner's Cup. Ain't that what it's called? Something like that.
Yeah,
Emirates,
yeah.
whatever
NBA
it is
Commissioner
called.
Cup, yeah.
I was watching me and my bro, shout out to my bro Rob. We was watching it yesterday. We Mavericks fans, and I'm watching this one-sided game, and I'm kind of looking at Oklahoma City. And I'm looking like this is what a real contender's supposed to look like from top to bottom. It's a real stingy defense. And I'm just looking, I'm like, man, they're gonna have to be dealt with. Um, I could see them sweeping their first round opponent easily, and it got me thinking like who's equipped to deal with something like this juggernaut for real. So that got me thinking like, what are the real title contenders? I know this is probably something that we'll revisit 2 or 3 times before the playoffs actually start, but uh, this early in the season, I feel like we got a nice little sample size. You know what I'm saying? So, what contenders are standing out to you thus far? That's like that you really bought in on.
For me, I'll stick in the Western Conference first. And mine, they kind of a sleeper, but they really kind of not. If you think about it, is the Golden State Warriors. I just really like the way they play basketball. I know it's been kind of up and down the last couple of weeks for them, dealing with
Right.
like roster changes, injuries, stuff like that. But I look at the numbers and like when you pretty much leading the league in rebounding, top 10 scoring, top 10 defense, all that, and you got bona fide superstar legend Steph Curry, playoff experience around across the board, even though you lost Klay Thompson. Filled that in with Buddy Hield. He's looking nice. Looney is still kind of doing his the intangibles, the things they need. And he's really their only like kind of somewhat rim protector. Draymond with a lessened role. But I like that team a lot. They got the young guns out there playing. Kaminga's getting more and more comfortable out there, which is who you really want to see take that leap. We've been waiting on it. So for me, it's the Warriors. They're sitting nice in the standings right now. And I just think defensively they're gonna get better and better. The more they like get a like the continuity and keep a steady lineup out there. I like the potential of what they got, and then that championship pedigree. They keep their core there for the most part. They don't go away. So I can really see them giving some teams some fits in the playoffs. And I can see them getting back to a finals and matching up with a potential Boston, who we've seen when they play Boston, they seem to play their best basketball, and it's tough for the Celtics to beat them. So I can see them making a run and getting back to it.
I'm actually on the opposite end of that. I was sold early on in the season, but I feel like they kind of tapered off a little bit. I feel like Curry starting to get like worn down just a bit. I'm not really sold on the core, and to be honest with you, I don't really know what the real core is at this point. I feel like I'm hearing Jimmy Butler name. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that could be a potential destination. I know he said he was interested in the Texas teams as well. I'm kind of not really sold. I think I need to see them make another move for real before I'm actually sold because I ain't gonna. I'm watching this Thunder team and I'm just really looking at them like them and the Mavericks. I even this might be a biased take, but I am biased for the Mavericks. I do feel like we're top three West in the team, top five team in the NBA. What you think about Houston? I know they don't necessarily have like a closer. They do lead the league in rebounding. Udoka has put a good defensive system in
Mhm.
place, especially like with Twin and Thompson and Eason coming off the bench. I
Yeah.
do what this team has. They're still inexperienced. I feel like that'll be their downfall in the end if they happen to make somewhat of a playoff run. But are you sold on them at all?
As far as championship contender, not yet. Just because I want to see Jalen Green kind of take that next step, especially after getting that contract and becoming like that bona fide like number one, like an average 25 a game, especially in today's NBA with that athleticism he got, like just everything he can do. I feel like he's been kind of underwhelming this year at just 19 and a half points a game. So until they get like a guy that can go out there and give you like a 35 to even maybe 40-point game, it's hard for me to see a team like that being able to win a championship like in today's game. So I think they're a well balanced team. They got a lot of good pieces. Even though Van Fleet's been a little bit down this season,
Yep.
I think like to be able to really compete for a championship, you need like that superstar player, and I don't think they have it quite yet. I think they got potential with Green, but don't really have it, so it's hard for me to see them, making that push and really making that championship run. They definitely surprising a lot of people, 16-8. You know what I'm saying? Top, I think they like maybe 3 seed or something like that, 2 or 3 seed in the West. So they turning some heads, but I just think yeah, it's gonna take another move like a KD trade, man. They over the top with that, but I don't know. They gonna put a trigger on that one.
Yeah, I was looking at Fred VanVleet numbers. He is having like a little down year. It's not too good. In particular, the 3-point shooting, it's like a 6-point dip from 38 to 32%. My only concern with them is, like I said, even though I do like the defense, I like Sengun. I feel like it's a lot of chefs in the kitchen. I've been on record for saying that before, but I feel like when it's like April, May, 2 minutes left in the game, who are you really going to? You know what I'm saying? What if y'all, just hypothetically speaking, say you playing like the Thunder in the second round? The Thunder know who they're going to 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. Number two, with the braids, you know what I'm saying? He gonna take it 3-point inside, on down. He gonna operate. He gonna shoot his 54% from mid range, and he pretty much gonna close the game. I don't think Houston has that ability just yet. I feel like they're maybe a year or two away. As far as a true contender, I really, honestly, I see the two teams that we saw last night, honestly, and I don't really know if I got any team over those two. I feel like if you're a Mavericks fan, you can say we didn't have PJ, but I don't really know how much ground he was going to be able to make up in what Oklahoma City was doing last night, because I kind of felt like they came into that game with the mindset of the second half of 2024. We kind of took everything. They kind of processed everything that took place as far as us putting them out of the playoffs, them beating us, no, us beating them in the playoffs, us beating them this year without Luka Doncic on the floor in Oklahoma City. It's like they had a chip on their shoulder. The number one seed currently with a lot to prove. And they kind of came in with that mindset last night. You kind of saw they were very stingy. What caught my eye immediately was like the half-court defense. We couldn't just make quality offense to save our lives. Luka at one point was like 1 for 9 from the field. You saw him in the corner. It reminded us, like, when James Harden used to be off the ball in Houston. It was very reminiscent of that, and it's like he just wasn't engaged. We had a hard time even getting the live. Like I said, we just couldn't get none of quality, and it felt like they got whatever they want. We kind of finally got to see what the Hartenstein piece looked like with the rim protection, with the rebound and the inside scoring. It's just like, if filling need was a player, it's kind of like him and Caruso, because like that defense, man, they number one in every defensive category. It felt like, and they lead the league in forced turnovers. You can kind of just really see it. The last time I felt like I saw a defense like that, it was in June. You know what I'm saying? So, but
I say, and just to add to that, and the Mavericks, they were missing PJ Washington, but also OKC been playing without Holmgren for a minute now. He's due back, I think they said next month or the month after. So I get it, both teams missing a piece, but I would say that Holmgren is a bit of a bigger piece for OKC than PJ Washington is for Dallas. So yeah, that game last night, they just came out flat. Luka was flat. I feel like that was a kind of good telling game, like to see where teams at, how they stack up. And I think Dallas just kind of fell flat. I would like to see Kyrie or Luka take that game over, kind of like Shea did. But it's like I said, it's only December, so they'll see each other again, and we'll be able to get that, hopefully, that rematch in the playoffs. So.
The one team that I do like, and I said I feel like they could make it to like the Western Conference finals, was Memphis. I feel like that's the one team that you kind of got to be aware of, because I feel like they have a deep team. I feel like they can play some great defense. They got great defensive players. I love the bench. I love Scottie Pippen Jr. I like Jalen Wells, the rookie. I don't know, man. I don't know what Marcus Smart would look like. Maybe close to the trade. I don't know if he'll be. I'm starting to hear his name amongst some other guys around the league, but I feel like Memphis is a team that you kind of got to keep on your radar for sure.
Yeah, and then it's really like they're doing it with the offense, averaging over 120, I think like 122 a game, which is not really what Memphis has been known for. So they get it done on the offensive end and just putting up points in bunches. So yeah, that's scary. Y'all look good out there.
They also said that if I'm not mistaken, everybody's averaging around like 28 minutes a game. They're not exhausting nobody right now either. So I trying to keep everybody fresh. Josh said he done dunking for right now. Well, let's transition to the Eastern Conference real quick. And to be honest with you, other than, I want to keep one team off real quick. I want to start with Cleveland. I feel like Cleveland has come out and they kind of put the league on notice. I feel like Kenny Atkinson has sold the organization. He has everybody buying in, and you can kind of see it it kind of feels like even though you still got like the hierarchy of the team and like the Evan Mobley's, Darius Garland's, Donovan Mitchell. I feel like everybody, even those guys, have like bought in. They don't really care who's doing what as long as we winning. And I feel like that's the real recipe for success. And they got a real nice defense over there too. So
Yeah.
what you see in Cleveland? Are you sold?
I'm not sold quite yet, but I like what I'm seeing, especially out of those Twin Towers with Allen and Mobley. Like I think they playing real good, consistent basketball, protecting the rim, obviously with Allen. They rebounding both. I think one's averaging 10, one's averaging 9. So they rebounding the ball. And it's being the anchors that you need on defense, especially like when you come against some of these other teams that in the East, they got the dominant bigs. Like if you come across an Embiid or Cat is not as dominant, but you got a Cat over there, teams like that. You want your bigs to be able to play and stay out of foul trouble. So they keep that up, that'll be nice. I keep saying I'm still not a fan of Mitchell and Garland in the backcourt. I think they undersized, don't play enough defense. I mean, team defense they looking pretty good, but I think come playoff time, some some matchups can be exposed for them. So we'll see how they handle it. But you can't really argue with 21-4, first place in the East. So they're getting it done right now. How long can they sustain it? We'll see. They stand ahead of Boston, so we'll see how long they're able to hold them off. But I don't know if it's gonna be able to last too much longer.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I like Orlando. I can't wait to see this at full strength. That defense is tough. It seemed like I don't know. It kind of feels like I'm trying to think of the team. I want to say like a Tom Thibodeau type team where you just kind of get everything out of all the players that you got. It's
Yeah,
like Paulo goes down, here comes Franz. Franz goes down, here comes Jalen Suggs. And it's like they just doing a lot. And a lot of people like how Anthony Black is looking this year. I'm hearing that that's the team that y'all don't want to see in the Boston Celtics. That's what I'm hearing right now. I can't wait to see what they look like in full strength though. What you got?
I can say yeah. The last few years, Orlando has gave us some fits. They just match up well with us, and this year they're playing even better defense. So it's definitely to think about. It's kind of scary. They consistent. Paolo's just getting better and better. You know he's gonna be back in that lineup. Suggs last night. I watched a little bit of that game. He looked really good last night. So yeah, and they just got pieces all around. They still relatively young. They got guys like Jonathan Isaac, Carter
Right.
Jr. You add a guy like Caldwell Pope, who's a vet. They just got guys that can really get it done. And I mean, defense. I mean, they top three in defense. So I mean, you can't really go against that. The only issue with them is just that offense. We've been saying it.
Can't
Bottom
shoot.
five in offense as well. They can't shoot the ball. They
Can't
can't stretch
shoot.
the court. So obviously, they got a guy that can get a bucket come playoff time, and possibly even maybe two guys. But I just think you got to be, especially a team like Boston, who you know is going to shoot the air out the basketball. 40 plus 3-point attempt, or I mean, way too many 3-point attempts. You got to be able to, if they catch a wave and kind of knock down like 3, 4 in a row, you got to be able to compete with that and stand fast. And Orlando's offense right now, they haven't shown they can really do it, struggling to put up 110 points. So
Right.
it'll be interesting to see if they're able to like pivot and find some type of offense. But you can't count them out just because their defense is tough. And yeah, when it comes to Boston, some of these teams just seem to give Boston so much trouble, and they definitely one of the three. I think them, Golden State, and then for whatever reason, Cleveland, we get big leads on them, and we always just give them away. So they got a shot.
All right. Before we transition into the next segment, I want to talk about the Knicks before we get up out of here real quick. I'm kind of up and down on the Knicks because it's like from a defensive standpoint, it's not really what I'm used to with this particular group. But I do know like Preston Achua isn't there, Mitchell Robinson isn't there. It's kind of like you got to wait for guys to get back, get their repetition, so we can really see what this thing is look like in at full force. But from an offensive standpoint, Karl Anthony Towns has been like a revelation. If I'm not mistaken, he's shooting over 50% from three, averaging like 26 and like 12 or something like that. Something crazy. Like him and Jalen
Yeah.
Brunson got the two-man game going. I just feel like I heard I think I read or heard somewhere they was like they traded for the Phoenix Suns, Mikal Bridges, but ended up getting the Brooklyn Nets, Mikal Bridges. He was used to being a guy for a couple of years over there in Brooklyn, and you signed OG. I really do like this team. I like Josh Hart. I like Jalen Brunson. I like the infrastructure that's been put in place with this team. It's just that from a contention standpoint, I don't really know if I'm really sold on them all the way.
Yeah. I mean, for me, they did have a slow start to the season. They lost some games they should have won. Obviously, that was bound to happen with a fresh trade, a brand new guy coming in, or a couple guys really. But I think they look pretty good now. The game last night, they were or was it last night, or the night before, they looked good. But I just think one of the minutes, like we talked about how Memphis is kind of making the minutes not so high for the guys. It's the opposite with the Knicks. Like you got Bridges playing 38 minutes a game, Josh Hart at 37, OG at 37, Jalen Brunson at 34, Cat at 34. And I'm not a big fan of that, especially like come playoff time. I just know how that wear and tear goes on the body, and especially with players who are already injury prone and have had major injuries. I'm not really a fan of doing that. But at the same time, they don't really have anybody reliable on that bench that they can depend on. And right now, you got to win games. You can't really give any games away. So they're trying to maintain that spot they in. I think they have fourth or fifth in the East. You want to kind of build on that, and you can't really. I mean, I think for them at this point, trading is kind of out of the question. They've made their trades. They kind of got to make do with what they got now, which is a really top heavy roster. So
Right.
um, they can find some production out of that bench, I'll have a little bit more faith in them. But right now, I just see them as like they're competitive in the East, but come playoff time, I don't see them beating the Bucks. I don't see them beating the Celtics. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even. They have a tough matchup with Orlando as well. So
Yeah, from a minutes perspective, it already feels like they in May, like late May for real. They gotta really address the bench. Like I know McBride is kind of like the only really service about coming off the bench at this point, but I don't know what Coach Tibbs gonna do about that. I'm kind of interested to see how they'll go along. That offense is a problem. Like we just got the defensive problems for real, and
mhm.
we just see how that goes. But
I mean, they will have Mitch coming back at some point, so that'll help for
yeah,
sure. But yeah, they need another guard out there. McBride can't be the only guard really producing.
yep. Well, that was it for the contenders. We got something else to talk about.